Red Bull Hardline. The gnarliest mountain bike event ever. Specifically, Red Bull Hardline Wales being the gnarliest. And in 5 weeks' time, I'm gonna be up on the rolling, dropping in, heart in my mouth. The Hardline track doesn't only test the best mountain bike riders in the world to their limit, like it's been proven, but it tests bikes to oblivion. Like there is no harder track. And having ridden there for a few years now and having seen it all as a rider, I won't mention any specific brand names, but a lot of bikes break. Like they explode on this track and it's a long week. So bike build, bike setup has never been more important than Red Bull Hardline. So my Hardline journey essentially starts here with this bike build. With all the learnings I've made from Hardline Wales, Tasmania, this is a brand new bike build and we're gonna think about it in a different way. And I've come to the best place, to Brink Bike Shop, which is the home of plush suspension. And Daz is gonna help me set up my bike this evening and set up the suspension. Like suspension tuning for downhill racing is just so important. Like the brightest minds on earth are still developing stuff which is making races faster. And hopefully with plush, I'm gonna get a taste of that with this bike build, which is a Marin Quake. I mean, when we talk about bikes breaking, the one thing I do not have to worry about is my frame breaking, because I rode the same Quake frame when we were testing the prototype for 2 years at Hardline Tasmania, Hardline Wales, Darkfest twice, 2 trips to New Zealand, a trip to Whistler, a trip to Utah, and then back to another Hardline on one frame. We repainted it just to like make it look new, but it was the same frame. So this ain't breaking, but everything else needs to be completely dialed, and that's just so important. And I'm running a size large, which is bigger than I've ever ridden, but having sort of sat on Ronan Dunn's bike, Teo, all the boys run big bikes with long reach, big bars. It appears that like a big downhill bike just makes things easier, to be honest, and I've always run a small one for doing whips and flips. But this is the year that I'm going bigger and sort of falling more into the category of a downhill racer. So without further ado, let's jump in. So Daz has already fitted the rear shock to my bike, which is an Öhlins TTX 22 M2 coil shock. They're fancy pants. And this has come direct from the Öhlins factory already with what Daz told me is the highest compression tune that Öhlins do. So that allows me to adjust the shock in a way bigger range, like at the top end of compression, where Hardline hits are the biggest, you need high compression. And he's also swapped out the hardware from a bush to a bearing, which just makes that tiny difference with how smoothly it runs, being a bearing over a bush. For the fork, I've got the latest and greatest Öhlins downhill fork. It's the DH38 M2. They've got a brand new gloss black lower and these insanely sick look. I mean, they look like titanium. The crowns look incredible. So the old factory fork was yellow, which I loved on my Tasmania bike, but this is gonna look like honestly elite. And I've got some other parts that are gonna tie in. So I think Daz, you're keen to fit this, aren't you? Because it's your bag. Cheers, bro.
Yeah, we'll get it fitted, make it look nice.
Were you thinking of doing anything to that before we put it on?
Oh, they do feel pretty good.
Yeah, they've come from the factory. I imagine they've done all the
tops.
All singing, all dancing stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. Coming through.
The boys are... Daz has dropped these out the bike, now they're kind of fitted. He doesn't trust me not to damage them or scratch them in the rest of the build. We're going to tune these later, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's such like a quandary how to set up suspension for Hardline. It's such a one-off event. And I don't even know what features are there yet. Last year, they obviously had the iconic river gap. I don't think that's coming back this year, but I'm sure there's going to be some changes. So I kind of don't even know what to expect. No. But you would just take, like, list again the things that you can, or you personally are able to change about a fork. Is insane.
Pretty much everything. So we can change compression tunes from super light to super heavy, low speed and high speed compression, rebound tunes as well. So rebounds all done in the actual fork, it's in the damper itself. You've just got one adjustment at the bottom there. And we can also, on Öhlins forks, play around with air springs because they have the ramp up chamber in the bottom and they don't use volume spacers. You can really finite what you want to happen. So everything is a compromise. So if you're having, If you then arm pump and it's soft and if it's hard, then we're going to let some out, but then that's going to make it more difficult on the...
What the guys at Plush were able to do for me last time was make the top bit of suspension ridiculously supple, so all the roots and little rocks got soaked up. They basically solved arm pump for me by taking my fork and giving it back to me. But they made it ramp up loads so that I didn't fly through all the travel. Ramping up is like landing on a bit of a firmer pillow, isn't it?
That's it, yeah.
So then you're not using all the travel, because Hardline has the biggest hits in the entire world. So you guys fixed arm pump and made me survive, and I'd like you to do it again, please.
Yeah, no worries. We can do that.
Right. I think let's do bottom bracket, cranks, all that stuff.
Yeah, start on the drivetrain, get all of that on the bike and make it look pretty.
It look more like a bike. Enjoy. Do you want to use it? Go on, I've warmed it up for you. Yeah!
Hey.
Hope you're enjoying the build. We've gone absolutely back to the very start. It's like we forgot the internal cable routing, which meant taking the shock out, everything out, the cranks back out. Did you have to take the bottom bracket out?
Bottom bracket, yes.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning I've got a discount code where you can save loads of money on the Brink website. So Brink sell bikes, kit, helmet, suspension. They also have Plush suspension, which does suspension tuning. Even if they've got a big sale on a bike right now, like a Trick e-bike, the discount code applies to that further to make it even cheaper. So last time I mentioned that, loads of people got some really good deals. So hit the link in my description and use code Matt Jones at checkout to save loads of money at Brink. Look at that. Look at that. It's all the way through the frame. That looks banging. Nothing beats a brand new downhill bike build. That is so sick. We were at Brink till midnight last night building this, and we did like an ASMR bike build. I hope you appreciated it. Danny smashed it editing that. So the unpolished, the unpainted crowns on this fork look so good with my handlebar and hubs. So a bit of a bike check on it. This is the Gusset S2 handlebar with my signature on it. The S2 saddle, the pivotal one with my signature on it. I've got it a bit of a dirt jump angle, but I actually really like it. I am a slopestyle rider. Goodyear tyres, Halo Skelter rims, they're super tough. The new Skelter rims from Halo are sick. Super Drive hub, which sounds amazing. But honestly, that fork, I just think looks so elite, so factory. I can't wait to ride it. And I'm actually going to Wales tomorrow morning to ride all day on this bike and get a feel for the large frame, get a feel for my suspension and get it set up. And I might be going up the Hardline course to check it out, which would be insane. So this is my bike. As I've said, Hardline takes no prisoners. I'm very lucky to have some rad sponsors and an insane bike. I've just been building a video game all year, so I've hardly really done downhill bikes. I did a 110-foot jump at Darkfest without the practice. Now I'm going to do Hardline without the practice, but I've got the bike. Thank you to Brink. Use that discount code for massive savings if you're buying a full bike or anything, to be honest. Let's go to Wales. She's built and we were at the right place. We've come to Kersoo's Bike Park. Jameson's here.
Gusta Vlogger here.
Mate, that is a sick looking front end. Wow, a large feels like a beast. It's like riding an armchair. Oh, he's emerged from the loam. Bike feels massive. It'll be good at Hardline, but I miss like the playful nature of an appropriately sized Quake. Give me your best John O'Jones lines. Oh, he's straight away. Look at him go. Oh, he's fast. Come on, Jumpy! This is where the big bike comes alive. Whoa, that was sick section. High line. Whoa. Oh, it's quite slippery after little showers this morning. A little bit of precipitation. Who's going inside? Low and fast, no style. Oh, he is. That is how you do it. Wow, watch your head. Whoa. I was in the bank there. He's run out of talent!
70%.
Okay, and I'll tell you honestly where I was at if I'm there.
Right,
at all.
okay.
70, yeah?
Right, 70%.
Rider is ready. Watch
Once
the
again,
gate.
let's go.
Well, that was a 70 pull out of there. '70's insane. I can't keep up with him at 70%. You might have to drop it to 60. Oh man, I got some work to do.